Howdy, stranger.
Don't say howdy, stranger, to me.
I'll be back.
And
We
are back
with
an amazing start to episode 22, is it?
I'm not a mind reader.
Episode is 22.
It is 22. We are back.
Two little ducks.
Okay, folks, this is episode 22 of the 2 Minute Terminator, where we take apart the Terminator films 2 minutes at a time.
Deconstruction.
Yeah, it's
analysis.
It's minute 42 to 44. Kyle pulls up with Sarah in the car and explains to her the score.
Mise en scene.
And she bites his little hand.
His little hand.
His tiny paw.
Again, it's a bit of a rapey scene, isn't it?
Yeah, the most rapey scene so far.
Well, I think we discussed this in another episode that she doesn't know who he is. She doesn't know if he's good or bad. She's just had a big shootout. This guy's dragged her out of a club, driven her, pushed her into a car, driven around. Now he's pulled up.
But again, he has kind of saved her from being shot to bits by some other dude who she now realises and has just found out that he's actually
But she doesn't
not
realise.
a robot, a cyborg.
Well, no, because he's telling her now the story that it will not stop ever until you're dead. It's a
Yeah, no, that's what I was just saying.
what is it? A combat chassis with a cybernetic organism or skin. On top of it.
I'm really enjoying her kind of 80s blue PVC jacket.
80s blue.
80s blue.
80s blue is a
We
is a
have
shade of
previously
deluxe paint as
discussed
well.
her fashion sense and her whole style.
I think she's gone wrong with the hair though. It's like she's got big on top, but then the sides she needs a diffuser. That's what she fucking needs.
Well,
jacket
yeah,
looks
that was
quite
it's like
Michael
a Chewbacca
Jackson-esque.
mullet with glycerin on it.
Yeah.
As a potential suitor, Joseph. And
To
then-
you?
And then no, do you find Linda Hamilton / Sarah Connor attractive?
Oh, she looks too much like my aunt. We've discussed this previously.
Episode 21.
Either way, it's incest.
You wait. When my aunt comes in and ferociously demands the rent.
How old is your aunt?
44.
So she's a young aunt.
So she could be Sarah Connor.
Okay.
I think in the timeline.
So,
Silence.
back to the movie.
Come with me if you want to live. Just drag her out the flat and lock her out. Okay, there's
Her
robots
own
coming.
flat.
Just go.
So with this particular scene, and he's talking
Yes.
to her, and he's explaining what the fuck's happening, and she tries to run away. She bites his hand, but then when you see his hand afterwards, there's no blood on it.
No.
Yeah.
They forget.
They forget.
Unless he
Inconsistent.
heals quickly. 'Cause he's from the
Fools.
future.
No, but he's not a cyborg.
Can we turn up? Just get some of this dialogue
Yes, of course.
because I think it's
You
good.
can have whatever you want, Joe.
You don't mean that.
Don't I? It's actually my favourite bit, favourite spiel in the whole movie.
Yeah, you knew it verbatim. You
Oh,
you were
fuck
quoting
yeah.
along. That's impressive.
Be reasoned with. It doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear. Absolutely will not stop.
Have you ever role played
Till you
out
are dead.
Terminator movies in a kind of sexual fantasy style?
No, but I will.
And would you which person would you play?
Oh, definitely the Terminator.
I'll put the wig on. That'll be fine.
Wow, that sounds amazing.
I want to get that.
You'd have
80s
to be
blue
John Connor
PVC
because you
jacket.
look like John Connor.
He hasn't even been born yet.
You can do anything with the timeline. We discussed this for the Terminator Genesis bonus episode 2 episodes back, everyone. Episode 21.1. The Terminator stalking his prey has no eyebrows, Joe. Have you noticed that?
I did notice, and I also listened. He was kind of listening to some minimal dub in the background there.
The minimal dub is the score by Brad Fidel, who's an electronic composer from the 80s. He did the soundtrack to Fright Night, and he also did the soundtrack to True Lies and Terminator 2.
Did the soundtrack to True Lies?
And the minimal dub you hear is meant to represent the heartbeat of the machine.
Terminator.
That's
Yeah.
what. That's
Whilst
nice.
he's surveying his whereabouts.
So I guess the underscore of all the score is that beat, isn't it?
Yeah.
Da-da-da-da-da. And there's that one as well. It's all based on heartbeats.
Perhaps symbolising that the human race is kind of inexplicably linked to machines.
Exactly. The marriage of flesh and steel.
Are you saying?
And probably
he's from
other,
the future?
more complex metal-based compounds as well.
Listen
I'd
to us,
imagine.
we're like waxing lyrically like two film students, and Ellie's just going, the future, doing lines in the background.
I mean, if the robots were just made of steel, I think they'd be far too heavy. And I
Yeah.
don't think steel is a dynamic enough.
Cyborgs
Alloy.
don't feel
Maybe
pain.
it's some like he said some kind of hyper alloy, didn't he?
Aluminum.
What?
When he's describing the Terminator, maybe not in this scene, but he's. I think it's some hyper alloy or something when he's describing what the actual endoskeleton of the Terminator is.
Which scene's that in?
Maybe not this one. In this one, he actually mentions that the T600 Terminator was easily spotted because it had rubber skin.
Yeah.
And we see those actually in a future installment of the,
Whereas
I
now,
guess, an
they've got
unofficial,
bad breath and everything.
an unofficial sequel, which is Terminator Salvation. You actually see the rubber T600s who were like really massive and rubber looking. And
Wow.
Really?
yeah,
I've not actually seen
Where,
Salvation.
in Salvation, is that?
yeah.
Oh, I'll have to.
Yeah, they got in the kind of concentration camp compound, but they've obviously been like on duty for a long time because the skin's kind of rotted off, or it's all ripped and damaged. But Ellie hasn't seen Salvation, so
I
I
have
think
not.
you're not going to watch it going in. You're just going to watch Salvation 2 minutes at a time when we get to it.
Probably.
Well, that'll probably
Maybe
be like
that'd be better.
this time next year by the time we get around to that.
Well, yeah, we've got 2 other movies to do.
I've got the script up here. I'm just searching for this section because it'd be good to discuss what's being.
Isn't it easy just to
said.
Google what the Terminator is made of in the fictitious world of
No,
Terminator?
but I want to see on paper what they're saying. You know?
Okay.
This
I was
actual
like-
bit of script gets used in an old drum and bass tune. They
Really?
they sample it, yeah.
Which bit of dialogue?
Where he's saying it can't be bargained with, it can't be reasoned with. He doesn't feel fear or pity or remorse.
Oh, okay.
Is
Bit
that
of music
right?
trivia there.
One possible future.
One. I don't know the tech stuff.
This
I don't know, what he's
This
saying
is
before
why I
was
wanted
pretty
the script
technical.
up because there's in parentheticals on the script. Sarah, when she says
Can
right,
I just stop you there? What's that mean?
a parenthetical. That's the brackets.
Oh, okay. Just say brackets.
But in if we're going to talk movie, we need to use the proper script terminology.
I'm sure
Yeah.
the audience is going to be very sophisticated, but like obviously the host
I
isn't.
got
So
banned for using the term chiaroscuro.
what does that mean?
What does that mean? Is that a type?
That sounds like a geisha of a wealthy landowner from like the Ming Dynasty who killed herself.
Chiaroscuro is a type of
Chiaroscuro, let's kill
herself.
It's like a cinematic kind of shot. So if something's shot in chiaroscuro, it's very dark. It's kind of like very Sin City,
Okay.
blacks, not really much
So
colour.
it's not a geisha that commits suicide or harikari.
Good God, no.
Can I read you something?
You have
dishonored
my home,
Can I read you something from the? Can I read you something from the script?
Please do.
This is direction in the script for Sarah Connor at the moment she is.
Accosted.
She tries to leave the car.
All right.
Sarah says right, patronisingly,
Okay.
and then, like a shot, she unlatches the seatbelt, pulls the door lock, and has the door half open before Reese can react. He catches her arm and hauls her struggling back into the car. Sarah sinks her teeth into his hand with all her strength. His grip doesn't slacken. Slowly, without releasing her, he reaches across with his other hand and shuts the door. His face shows no reaction. Sarah draws back and stares at the blood running down his arm from the bite. That at his grim, scarred face. That's a typo in the script. Then at his grim, scarred face, it should say. The light turns green and Reese drives on. They're not driving,
That's
they're
not
still.
happening.
Sarah tastes blood and wipes her mouth.
Ooh.
Cyborgs don't
It's
feel
like a
pain.
Mills and
Sexy.
Boone novel.
It's interesting. There's this script on IMDb available, but in the script here, they're driving when she tries to
Right.
jump out the car.
Oh well, I'm sure they make alterations as they're filming.
Let me
but,
just
see, I
text.
told you it'd be good on this show, Ellie.
Let me just text
Oh, I'd never
James
doubted you.
and see what he says. James
James.
Who's James?
Cameron.
Oh, right. Cool.
Oh,
James,
Cameron's texting
why
you.
the difference on IMDb? Also, Titanic. What the fuck? Wait for him to get back to me now. We might have to wait till the next episode for his.
We
reply.
might be on
yeah.
episode 605 before James Cameron actually hears about this podcast, besmirching his honour and calls Joe.
Yeah. Anyway,
That's
So-
pretty much what we can say about that scene, really.
You think?
Yeah, I'm sure we can fill it with some other kind of trivia.
I love the irony of the fact we can do a 23-minute episode on driving down an alleyway in a car when
Yeah.
there's no dialogue, and when there is dialogue, exposition, and lots of story. Well, that can blossom from this very scene. We do 9 minutes.
I think we just had I think we all had 3 sugars in our tea, and that gave us a boost for
Yeah.
10 minutes, and now it's gone.
An Englishman needs his tea for the podcast.
I just can't believe you're drinking tea.
I know, I never.
What
had
is
tea.
caffeine going to do to your body?
I just thought the sugar I'd need, like, we'd give you, like Joe
Sugar.
said, a boost. Arnold appears to have some a glycerin-covered face.
Does he have no eyebrows for the whole fucking movie?
Yeah, well, Ellie brought this up. She didn't understand why he had no eyebrows, and 2, he has like a spiky haircut, which is like the classic Terminator look. Because when he arrives, he's got like bangs and curtains, and he's got like this wishy-washy mid-80s haircut.
I like your bangs.
I like your bangs, man. The reason being, as they leave Tech Noir, and you've not seen this because you joined the episode late, but the previous episode, when they're running out the Tech Noir, Reese shoots a shotgun at the gas tank of a parked car, engulfing the Terminator in flame. And obviously his hair gets crispy, and I guess gives him an excuse to cut his hair to more like
Slightly toasted.
Slightly toasted, yeah. The episode that was endoskeleton slightly toasted. And that's the reason he's got no eyebrows, because they burnt off in the fire, giving him this kind of like creepy look, I guess.
But again, I mean, if he doesn't, here's something actually. If he hasn't got a heart rate, like an actual human heart rate, how would the body then heat up, and then how would he sweat?
That's a good question. I assume it's just a self-contained ecosystem. I don't know. I suppose the organs and things are in there to some degree. I guess he just... does he eat? That's another question. Can a Terminator eat and sleep and shit?
And also, will they have Velcro in the future?
I guess he doesn't sleep, because in the second one, which we didn't really talk about, he's like guarding John, and she said he doesn't sleep, he doesn't hit him, he doesn't do this. He's the best father he'd ever had in an insane world. It's the same.
He certainly doesn't sleep, because in the same movie, when he goes to the hotel, I always used to joke with
Fuck you, asshole.
I always used to joke with my brother the fact that the bed it's like the smallest, thinnest little like mattress.
Isn't the mattress folded over on itself?
No,
right,
he does that when he picks the gun out. Yeah.
All right. Sorry, future episode. We've just stolen some fact from you.
We can just repeat it.
What are you doing?
She looks pretty hot with the blood on her mouth. She's got a bit of
this
a
whole
vampirish...
scene again. It's kind of rapey, but you know, some people are into that. It's quite.
And without
the sexual tension is building.
Also, without eyebrows, you can actually see Arnold Schwarzenegger's got this kind of exterior skull bone structure above each eye.
He looks quite Bigfoot, actually.
Well, that's the. I guess those are the prosthetics they put on his eye, because he wouldn't go, "You're not going to shave my eyebrows."
Tart.
I guess.
Did they really say that he couldn't shave his eyebrows?
Well, I imagine he wouldn't, because that would be vanity, and they can just paint them out
Arnold
with a bit
Schwarzenegger shave eyebrows? Oh, how do I get rid of them?
Up and L.
I think in the Terminator, definitely the original Terminator movie, the eyebrow consultant was Phil Stubbs, who also coordinated all the eyebrows for the Matrix movies with the Wachowski brothers. I can compete with trivia.
Phil Stubbs. Is that actually true?
Yeah, eyebrow consultant. Of course it's fucking... No, it's not. That's what I'm good at. I'm good at making up bullshit.
Bullshit.
Well, if there's one thing this show is, it's total bullshit.
I wonder who Phil Stubbs is in the real world. Phil Stubbs, who are you?
Yeah, Google as we go. But that was episode 22 of the 2-Minute Terminator. Thank you for listening. If you've got any facts, figures, or things you think we've missed in this or any previous episodes or future episodes, because you've realised what buffoons we are, and you definitely know we're going to miss something coming up, email us at 2minuteterminator@gmail.com. Send us your facts, figures, tell us stuff you want to mention. Send us photographs of your cosplay or Halloween Terminator costumes. Joe's got something to add.
And incidentally, just to round off on the Phil Stubbs thing, the real Phil Stubbs is a musician from the Bahamas.
Oh.
The only Phil Stubbs in the world is a musician from the Bahamas. He's probably in a steel band.
That's a racist stereotype.
Phil Stubbs, if you are out there and you want to email us and tell us for besmirching your name on this show.
There's another Phil Stubbs as well, who was an ocean rowing champion who died in a plane crash.
Okay, he's probably not going to email in. For the living Phil Stubbs, who's an accomplished musician, 2minuteterminator@gmail.com. That's the number 2minuteterminator@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook at 2-Minute Terminator the podcast. You can find us on Twitter at 2-Minute Terminator the podcast. You can find Ethan, your gracious host, at ethanmckinley.com. Joe, where can we find you? Do you have anything going on?
I live at 22 Dartmouth Park Hill. Pop in.
In London.
Don't really, by the way.
Come and see us. He does really.
I'm on Twitter at Jojo's Dojo.
Yeah, JoJo's Dojo, and Ellie's on Twitter but never uses it, and Facebook. Ellie Fitzgerald, if you want to find her and send her some dick pics, inbox her now.
Please
She's
do.
the one that looks like Edward Furlong. And with that, we
Hasta
shall...
la vista.
Baby.
I'm Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I'm stupid in my head. I'm Arnold Schwarzenegger.